Hi, and welcome to IUE Mag TV, where almost anything goes.
This is an entirely student-run production put on by the IUE's telecom class. We hope to learn while we entertain you.
Today we'll be interviewing two of IUE students, Jordan Bruns and Christy Moffitt, who we'll be introducing to you in just a few minutes.
We also have the Rant of the Week, Creative Corner, and our super educational Just Ask James segment of the show.
Yep, that's definitely my part of the show. That guy James is something else.
Speaking of something else, is anyone ready for something else besides snow?
Well, I'm ready for some 80-degree beach weather, personally.
I know, I can't wait till spring gets here.
Well, we may be ready for spring, but are you ready to meet IUE Mag TV's first guest? Let's welcome Jordan Bruns.
Jordan is an IUE student and a member of our telecom class. He has some interesting news he would like to share with us.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, Jordan.
Okay, I'm a junior here, communications major, and we're going to talk about something in a little bit, and some idiot smashed out my window this morning.
Oh my gosh.
In front of your house, or?
Yeah, in my car, my front passenger side window, and it's like glass inside my car, snow all over the seat, everything.
It's a tragedy. Well, you're here to tell us today about something you're producing. You want to give us a brief overview?
Yeah, I'm directing a movie as part of this telecom class that will hopefully be ready for presentation by the end of the semester, but it may take a little bit longer than that because it's kind of been delayed a little bit.
Cool. What's the status of your movie now?
Right now we're in the late stages of casting. We still need a few more people, and then we'll be ready to roll.
So everybody out there who wants to become an actor or an actress, you know where to go. Can you tell people how to contact you if they're interested in helping?
Well, I've actually been thinking about, like, next week, just setting up somewhere and having, like, an open casting call, just people stop in and read for it or whatever. So I'll probably just do that, actually.
Have you decided, where you want to possibly do that? What building?
The Graph Center would be a good place, or outside of Subway, wherever there's students in and out of all the time.
So what part of the, how much does the telecom class help you in, making the movie?
It's done quite a bit because now, I have access to the mics and stuff like that, and it's not just a little handheld video camera. I can edit it, I can make it look professional. Without the class, I wouldn't be able to do it. I could, but it'd be really cheesy looking.
So, for an estimate, what's your goal possibly for having it completed so we can all view it?
I'm hoping to have it done by May or June. It may take a little bit longer, but at least no later than summer. I want it done because I gotta get my grade for it. I can't be sitting there a year from now.
Well, first off, can you give us a brief overview without telling too much?
Well, it's kind of a tragic love story, like a love triangle thing, one girl, two guys, but it's not the typical thing that you usually see in the movies. It's a type of story that's never been told before, and people will see that when they watch it. They'll be like, wow, nobody's ever done anything like that before. So.
And where can they go if they want to see the movie?
I haven't figured out where I'd want to premiere it yet. I'd want to do it maybe here in Vivian Auditorium or at Charlie's or somewhere at Earlham, somewhere that has that seats a lot of people.
Great. Got any place for two good hosts in your movie?
Do you know two good hosts? Well,
not really.
Well,
but
I yeah. There's anybody who wants to help out can help out.
Yeah, but do you think a good host could star in the movie?
Well, I already got all the guys I need, so I need women now.
Great.
Well, this week we've been asking people on campus to rant about their movie likes and dislikes.
Jordan, maybe you need to take notes during this so you know what not to do with your movie.
Take a look at how people really feel about what goes on at the box office.
If you want to see a good movie, go see The Recruit. Most movies nowadays, you basically can guess what's going to happen in the first 15 minutes with the characters. With The Recruit, Al Pacino does his great performance as usual with up-and-coming newcomer Colin Farrell, who plays Bullseye in Daredevil. Stories about a guy who's recruited by the CIA and Al Pacino, and pretty much goes through all the twists and turns of what happens when you're undercover in that. Great movie, unexpected plot twist everywhere. So you should go see The Recruit.
I went and saw Drumline, and it was a really decent film because I believe in that black college, like marching band. I mean, that's what we do. We travel and see a lot of colleges, and it was a really, really good movie based on that. You know, the actors looked like they knew how to do the drum line itself, and it was quite interesting to see that on film. It was a good movie. I liked it, A+. I saw what's the one, The Ghost Ship. I got to see that from the beginning, man, because this is interesting. I like it, and that was a good movie too, as much as I've seen of it.
Here to talk about a movie, great movie, Two Towers, Lord of the Rings. Man, this has the best battle scene in movie cinema today. You've got great things like tossing dwarfs, and you have trees that just pick up the roots and start messing with creatures, just start ripping it up. It's got a lot of good actors in it. You got Viggo Mortensen, Ian McKellen comes back as the Gandalf the White Wizard, going up against Saruman, who is Christopher Lee. Got basic storyline going as that they're trying to sneak the ring into the evil stronghold while evading capture, while everybody else tries to keep all of the evil baddies off of their backs. It's got a great movie.
I saw Final Destination 2 with a group of people, and there's basically two ways that I saw the movie, the content and the way that they filmed it. And the content was really, really creepy on this movie. You know, a horror movie like you know, the Jason movies or the Friday the 13th, the killer comes up and he slices your throat and you're dead. But in Final Destination, that's not it. The killer is life and death and everything around that. So he's not slicing your throat with a knife. He's using normal, everyday objects like an airbag in your car, and he's killing you with it. And I found that really, really disturbing. I had to drive home, a 30-minute drive after the movie, and it was really, really hard not to worry about everything else out on the road, because a semi-truck tips over in front of you, boom, you're dead. You know, someone comes up to the side of your car and, you know, hits you, you're dead. You get home and you put chicken in the microwave and it's still in the aluminum foil. Boom, you're dead. There's way too many ways to die, and this movie really pointed it out. One of my favorite characters in the movie was from the last movie, and she lived in a rubber room in an asylum because she thought that everything was going to kill her. And, you know, after seeing this movie, that's an option that you really seriously consider. If you're in a rubber room, nothing can kill you. But the way that they filmed the movie, the way that they told the story, the way all the angles and everything worked on the camera, it was really a well-filmed movie. And it didn't ruin the ending, and you had to really work through what's going on and figure it out just like everyone else in the movie. And I thought they did a really good job making the movie. It was just really, really creepy. And I don't like having to worry about everything else in my house.
Hi, I saw Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Sandra Bullock was warm and real to me. It's been one of my favorite movies in the longest time. I generally read the book before I see the movie, but this time it just so happened I saw the movie first, and it did make me want to read the book, so I can't wait for that and to parallel the two.
I saw My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and I thought it was a cute movie, except there was a lot of hype around it, and after seeing the movie, after hearing all the hype, I didn't think it was all worth all that hype. But it was an independent film, and apparently the highest grossing independent film of all time, and I just think there's other independent films that are cuter.
Okay, I wanted to talk about the movie Crossroads with Britney Spears, because I thought the critics kind of gave it a bad rap. I have a couple of daughters, and the movie it was definitely a chick flick, but it had a good message in it. It had a date rape situation and kind of dealt with that. So I thought it was a good movie to watch with my daughters, and Brittany sang in it, so it was awesomely entertaining because of that. And after I saw it on DVD. I was surprised that it didn't do better at the box office. And I was also surprised that it hasn't done better on DVD because I thought it was a lot better than the critics made it out to be. Had a good story, very entertaining with the music, and really her acting wasn't that bad. The storyline was okay for me. But again, a chick flick, so maybe that's why it wasn't as popular as that could have been.
I watched Sweet Home Alabama this weekend, and Reese Witherspoon is so cute. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend you going out and buying it or reading it because it's perfect.
The last movie that I saw was My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and some friends of mine told me it was the funniest thing they'd ever seen. I was really excited about seeing it. My husband went with me and the kids. They weren't so thrilled. And the movie was okay. It wasn't what it was all hyped up to be. I thought it was kind of dry in the spots, but it was at the $1.50 cinema, and it wasn't a total waste.
There you have it. The critics have spoken.
Well, maybe our next guest will have some feedback on the movie that likes and dislikes.
Christy Moffitt is an IUE student and also a student in our telecom class. Let's welcome Christy.
Hi.
Christy, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Include your likes and dislikes of movies.
Well, I'm 20 and I live in Connersville. I like basically every kind of movie. I really don't like love stories. They're just too goofy, I guess.
They're all the same anymore, aren't they?
What's your favorite? Comedy, drama?
Comedy, definitely. I have this fascination with Jim Carrey, but that's just me.
Well, we asked you here today because you are a typical IUE student. So tell us some exciting things you're doing besides taking classes.
Oh, one very exciting thing is I'm planning my wedding. So it's very, very stressful.
So when's the date?
May 24th. So it's going to be an outside wedding and a lot of people.
Let's just hope it stops snowing.
Yeah, by May, hopefully.
Now, do you ever feel stressed out with all that you have to do besides planning your wedding and school?
Yeah, I mean, the wedding is really stressful, but school is twice as much as stressful as planning the wedding, because the days I do have off from school, I'm always doing something, planning the wedding or getting ready, and it's going to cost about $3,000 for the wedding. And that's not buying anything, that's renting everything we have to rent. So, and I think the most stressful part of it right now is trying to find a place to have it, and a place to have the reception, and because there's no place in Connersville, have anything like that. And if you find some place, they want an outrageous price for it. So,
well, what advice would you give to other students like you?
plan very far in advance. Don't wait till you have 3 months to plan the wedding. So that's about it.
after your wedding, after that stress is over with, what are your aspirations for the future?
Well, I want to get into film and be a producer. I want to move to Canada and start my career up there because it's just better up there. And then hopefully start that and be rich and famous and forget everyone that I ever knew, like everyone else. like every film producer just forgets all their little friends and move on with their lives. Yes, I am a trader.
You want to move to Canada and then
move to Canada, then Amsterdam.
Yeah, they're always making jokes about Canadians. Why is that?
I don't know.
It's a good question.
We're going to be joking about Christy while she's in Canada.
Yes.
Yeah.
5 years from now. Oh well. At least in Canada, it's not as stressful as it is in the United States. This Canada's not getting
No, I think it's stressful anywhere.
So,
okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
This time, taking a nice time to come talk to us out of your obviously busy schedule.
Well, she didn't have a choice, Adrienne. She's in the class.
Yeah.
You can at least make her feel special. And speaking of class, let's go to the king of class, the man with the plan, Mr. Information Superhighway himself. And let's just ask James.
Linda Cottingham from Richmond would like to know the answer to this question. What is the best camcorder to buy?
Anyone that works.
Today we are discussing camcorders. Camcorders are becoming an important part of technology in the home and the office use. I will go over some different features that you should look for when you're going to buy a consumer brand of camcorder. First of all is price. Price is not always based on the brand of a camcorder. Just because it's more expensive does not make it better. Features play an important part of what you should look for in a camcorder. Today's market is calling for digital, high 8, or mini DV. Today I'm going to go over the features of a mini DV camcorder, which you will find also on a digital camcorder. Let's look at this digital mini DV camcorder here. As you see here are some of the different inputs that you can actually put into and output back out to your camcorder. First of all, we have a DV, which is digital video. This right now is the highest digital image you can receive from and send to a camcorder. This is something that all computers are going to, and it's being used in all aspects of a digital video. Okay, below it is something that has PC input. This is basically for capturing still images to and from your computer. It acts as a digital camera. Okay, and below it we have an S video. Now S video is what you will find in a lot of video capture cards right now, and this is about a step below digital video. But the only thing on this, you do not capture sound with it, so you actually have to have sound coming from the camcorder to your computer through your soundboard, and then you have to dump it back out the same way. Digital video actually allows for sound and video to come in at the highest quality possible right now. This is actually being used in its industry standard right now. It's the highest one you can get. Another feature that you should look for, let's go ahead and move on to the other side, is the AV, which is audio video. Now this you may have recognized. You see it around on game inputs, you see it on your VCR, your TV, and this is the red, white, and yellow plugs. Now this one comes with a mini plug to a yellow audio and red and white audio and a yellow video. Now this is how you would actually have to feed your sound in if you're using this video. You would actually plug this into your soundboard from this plug, and this would capture your sound from your camcorder and also will allow you to dump it back to your camcorder. Now this feature is also nice if you want to preview your video or show someone, or actually record it to a VHS from this. This you would actually plug into your VHS player, and you would dump the sound and the video back to it. This is one on the bottom. This here is a blank, or it's a digital remote control. You can actually put a remote control here on your tripod on the handle, and this allows for you to control it from the handle versus have to do it up here, and you can see it it jiggles the camcorder. Now another feature that you need to look for, view screen is just a standard view screen. LCD is nice. It also comes with the view here, the viewfinder here, but this is more professional. You can see you can see it as you zoom in and out. It's nicer. You can see it if you have glasses. You don't have to worry about trying to take your glasses and adjusting all this for your glasses. If you have contacts, sometimes people will complain that they have, that it hurts them looking through the viewfinder. Another feature that I would look for would be top loader or side loader. Now this one here is a top loader. This is nice if you're working on a tripod and you need to exchange tapes out. You don't have to stop and take it off the tripod and do it if it's a bottom loader. So always look for that feature. So let's see. Digital zoom. Now as you can see, this camera, it boasts of a 700x digital zoom. After about 100x on the digital zoom, everything starts to pixelize. I have been working with the with camcorders for about approximately 6 years at different ones, not just digital but also on analog, and I have not discovered a use for the digital zoom yet. I mean, the industry may have an idea of what they're going to use, but they haven't actually, they haven't taken the time to explain to why they have it on there. I would have to say the digital zoom, just go for an optical zoom. Anything from a 10x to a 30x is really nice. You can really use that. If you're doing a lot of home videos, you will find that a teleport lens kit or a wide-angle lens kit is also nice to have. This allows you to, if you're close to your subject, you can bring the subject closer without having to move your camcorder. It looks something like this. It runs approximately $50 to $150. Sometimes you can go up even further. This just brings your subject closer, or a teleport will bring closer, or a wide angle will actually allow you to get more in the shot. You can pick up anywhere from 2 to 10 feet more of footage versus having to move it back and lose the important details of what you're shooting. Another thing, tripod. A tripod is nice. A nice tripod is good for any home video or office. If you're working professionally, a tripod is nice. This one here is just a standard tripod. It has your controls, your up and down. This would run you approximately $50 to $150, depends on which brand that you do pick up. Now, brands seem to make an important part of the tripod. You can get some that actually has the remote on the handle. This one does not, but you can actually buy it as a feature, a remote, an add-on to it, or you can actually buy a tripod with the remote attached to it, which is nice when you're shooting video because you can control all from the handle, and you do not have to worry about whether or not you're shaking your camera and getting a shaky picture. Mini DV. Let's talk about format. Mini DV and Digital 8. I would look for those. Mini DV seem to be the industry standard as far as working on commercials. Insight, Time Warner, all the cable companies are looking for Mini DV as far as what you have to present your work with to on them. Digital 8 is nice if you use your. Here's a Mini DV tape. It's a little bit more expensive than Digital 8, but it also, like I said, it's becoming the standard right now. Digital 8 will actually play your 8mm, and you can digitize those. I hope to see you next week.
Great. I'm glad to know where I can go get a nice camera now.
I can't wait until next week to see what James will tell me I can spend my money on next.
Let's go on now to the artsy part of our show and visit our creative corner.
Today we'll see our own TJ Rivard and his interpretation of his short story, The Hat.
The last thing I'm going to read is a story I wrote. It's called The Hat. I don't know what to say about this except that I was looking for something to write about. And I don't know if some of you have seen me during the wintertime. I wear a little felt hat in the wintertime because it gets cold on a bald head in the wintertime. So, and I was looking for something to write about, and I saw the hat, and I started writing. And one of the things that whenever I write, I never know where I'm going when I write. I just start and see where it ends up. And for a while I thought that was a peculiar way to write, but the more I learned about writers, that's how most writers write. Anyway, this is called The Hat. I went to work the other day without my hat, and by the time I got home it had grown to the size of the living room. Even though I have a small living room, this made for an extraordinarily large hat. The children chased each other around the brim, the two youngest sliding into the bowl, screeching with delight as they tried to get away from the oldest. He grabbed at them with hands that had grown large, and he threatened them playfully with his screechy voice. His thin, fuzzy mustache twitched. The brim bent and sagged with his step, and the feather in the band tickled my face with each bounce. I peeked up over the bottom, which was now the top, and said, "Be careful now." They went on without listening or hearing, sliding into the bowl, climbing back out and chasing one another around the brim. I watched their game for a while. The oldest stayed on the brim, not letting them escape, pretending that they were in his dungeon and he the jailer. I said it again. "Be careful now. My head has to fit in there." although I had no idea how I was going to get it back to my size. When my wife came down from our bedroom, scarfed and dressed to clean the house, she stood in the living room with her fists on her hips and said, "Would you please pick up your hat and put it away?" I laughed. "Where should I put it?" "How about the coat tree? That seems like a good place." I scooted around next to her to see the room from her angle, to see if she saw what I saw. Yes, the felt brushed the top of her head. I shrugged and opened the door to the hall. "Okay, kids, the game's over. Your mom needs to clean in here." Soft, muffled protest came from the center. Hands pulled bodies up over the side. The oldest reached down and pulled the youngest up, and the three of them jumped down off the brim and scattered through the house. I assessed the size of the doorway to the hall where the coat tree stood, when I noticed that the coat tree had grown through a hole in the ceiling, up through the second story, and out through the roof. Standing under the coats, which now hung long from the hooks to the floor, I looked up and watched the clouds pass over. What a job, I thought. What a job. I pulled and folded the hat, flattened the bowl, and broke the brim to get it into the hall by the front door. I dragged the extension ladder out of the basement and rattled it up the side of the house. My wife called out from the porch, "Be careful now." Paint chipped away from the brick and fell on my head. I nearly crashed the ladder through an upstairs window before I rested the top against the gutter. The coat tree speared the sky. I wrestled the hat out the front door, and the wind caught the broken brim, flipping it and me off the porch. The feather broke free and wrapped itself around the corner of the neighbor's house. The children converged from the backyard and attached themselves to the feather, holding it above their heads. The wind picked them up a few inches off the ground, and the feather gently set them down a few feet away. They giggled and screeched, even the oldest with his wispy mustache, as the wind carried them around the yard. I envied them their fun, hauling the hat up the ladder rung by rung. I turned it as I went up, guiding it like a pilot guides the flaps on a jet, trying to keep wind resistance to a minimum. Finally, on the roof, I split the coats apart to find the lowest hook and hung up the battered hat. Inside, my wife vacuumed the living room in her scarf and her work around the house clothes and said above the roar of the vacuum, "There, that wasn't so hard, was it?" I ignored her and walked through the house, looking for the children. I found them in the oldest's room. His body filled the space, his back pressed against the windows, and his head scraped the ceiling. Ceiling? Ceiling. Even sitting on the floor. The other two lay between his huge legs, their bodies wrapped in the feather. He stroked their tiny heads with the tip of his monstrous finger and whispered softly, "Be careful now. Be oh so careful."
Well, that wraps up this week's version of IUE Mag TV.
Join us next week for more of what's happening and, of course, our Creative Corner and Just Ask James.
And remember what H. Jackson Brown said, our character is what we do when we think no one is looking.
That was deep for you, Adrian.
I know.
This is Amy Lees.
This is Adrian Wallace.
Have a great week.
And until next time, whatever, man!